Shalom, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kakadash. I like to say double honors to my apostles and elders, a great millstone who well and taught us this truth. I also like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect in the one third. This is your brother Salah, and today's lesson, we are going to be going over the some of the miracles of the MOTB, the MARK to the beast, that charagma, right? I've just got word from the brother Barak that that a part of the miracles of the MOTB is Esau, this damn devil, using nanobots, to heal people, right? But we know that's a deception, right? Because we know what happened back in 2020 when people took the let's say the jump shot, the Waxon, Flaxon, Maxon, Jackson, right? Like, for lack of a better word, right? And it caused people to let's say they got deleted, or they started having health issues, right? And it's still affecting to them even today, and I believe for the spirit, it was some of these these damn nanobots that they put in there that's causing people to get messed up, to get paralyzed, to have all sorts of weird ailments, and cancer, because we found out that cancer, and this is not medical information, this is just news. It was this we uh we found out that cancer is just basically a lack of the oxygen to the cells, and the spirit, Esau used them those nanobot technologies to restrict people, but now comes the MOTB. He's gonna say, oh, we could use it to heal people, and then he's gonna reveal what he actually did during 2020, and say like, that jump shot that everyone took, yeah, that actually, it turns out there's nanobots in there. So if you take this, we could use that to heal you. But we know this damn devil is trying to is going to use that to off as many people as possible. Cutting off certain nerves to the body, and causing people to become paralyzed, or just outright kill them. All right, so now we're gonna read the book of Revelation chapter 13. We're gonna start at verse 11. It's called the beast from the earth, and it says here, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. Going back to Esau's two political party system, left, right, Republican, Democrat, plebeians, patricians, all that, and spake as a dragon. Going back to his draconian laws and measures, and a prime example what happened back during 2020. And now we see he's about to roll out that MOTB, as we're going to read below. And all right, verse 12, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. Going back to the Roman Empire, which America, Babylon the Great, is the reincarnation of Rome, along with NATO and the EU. And caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the beast whose deadly wound was healed. They follow the ways, the customs. They follow that democracy, that Babylon the Great. The lifestyle that the West follow. All right, verse 14. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast. They saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast which he had, which had the wound by the sword and did live. Talking about the fall of Rome, and when Esau went to the caves during the Dark Ages, and Jake was in rulership, and then came back during the Renaissance around the late 1400s to early 1500s. That's talking about his deadly wound being healed. All right, so let's go into this word miracles.
Strong's G 4592. Say Mayan. Say Mayan.
Oh, all right, right, going down here to biblical outline usage. So a sign, an mark, a token, that which a person or thing is distinguished from others and is known, a sign, a prodigy, prodded, an unusual occurrence transcending the sense, common course of nature, of signs pertaining to remarkable events soon to happen, of miracles, wonders by which God authenticates the men sent by Him, or by which men prove the cause that they are pleading is God's. So basically, going back to these miracles, right? One of the miracles that they're trying to do with the with that charagma, right? As you read that mark, right? Right, they're trying to mimic what Yahushua did, and let's see what he did in the book of Matthew, right? So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 4, and we're starting at verse 23, the ministry in Galilee, and Yahushua went about all Galilee, all Galilee, teaching their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, right? Which is what the prophets on the highways and hedges, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone are doing, right? Singing that new song, teaching about what the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people, and that's some of the miracles that Yahushua was doing. He was healing sicknesses and diseases of these people, right? And that's what Esau's trying to do on the left hand side, with his charagma. All right, verse 24. And his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torments, which were exposed, which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy, and healed them, and and there and there followed a great multitude of peoples from Galilee, and from the Decapolis, and from Jerusalem, and from Judea, and from beyond Jordan. So all these people went to Yahushua because they heard of all the miracles that he's been doing, and that's what Esau's trying to replicate on the left hand side. With his blessing, right? That charagma. So so without any further ado, we're gonna show some of these videos. And before I show them, I would like to say fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes. I'm not making any money off of this. Fair use, fair use. With that, I'm going to play the video. All right, here it is.
My name is Mark Miskin, and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Electrical and Systems Engineering at the University of Pennsylvania. My group makes tiny robots. They're somewhere between 3 hairs widths all the way down to something like 3 times a red blood cell, so literally microscopic. One application in healthcare that we're looking at is using tiny robots to repair damaged peripheral nerves. Your peripheral nerves are the nerves that wire your brain to the rest of your body. So let's suppose that somebody gets into an accident and injures a nerve that's in their arm. One of the things you desperately like to do is to make that nerve grow faster. But it turns out that nerves have one very special property, which is if you pull on them, you can make them grow faster. Our vision would be the surgeon would use a needle to inject one of these micro robots into the injury site. The robot would be chemically coated with an attractant that would cause the nerve to bond to the robot. And then the robot would carry that nerve, pulling it down the length of the arm to the muscle that it's supposed to be rewired to. And upon reaching the muscle site, the nerve would reconnect with it, and the robot could be surgically extracted on the other side, allowing the person to have their motor function or sensory function restored. It's still really early days in this research project. Our long-term vision in something like 50 years or so would be to actually have this in the hands of surgeons and hospitals throughout the country. And I think that's going to open up enormous new possibilities for medicine. All kinds of new windows open up when you can heal the body with cellular precision.
All right, and you just saw there, you basically saw this damn devil create basically microscopic, nanobots, basically way smaller like, about the size of a freaking cell, man. Like this goes to show you how insane this damn devil is, right? And and I'm gonna show you a couple of videos, from this old video game of that came out back in 2000, I believe 2011. It's called Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and this game basically foreshadows, some of the miracles that the MOTB did. So I'm gonna show you the first video. So what of what Esau, and we might see this during Jacob's trouble, right? But this basically shows you, what Esau, plans to use, with that nanotechnology and the MOTB, right? So without any further ado, I'm gonna play the video. Fair use, fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes only. I'm making no money off of this. It's fair use.
Why won't you die? Nanomachines, son. They harden in response to physical trauma. You can't hurt me, Jack.
So yeah. So that's basically what this devil thinks he can do with his miracles, man. And with that nanotechnology. Now here's an exaggerated of what Esau thinks he can do with that with that nanotechnology. The second video. All right, again, fair use, fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes only. Fair use, fair use. And with that, I'm gonna play the video.
Not bad, son. But, like Monsoon said, losing a limb or two won't stop us. The hell? The job's yours. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, and that right there is an exaggeration of what of basically what Esau, or maybe we might see it, what Esau's, what his blessing entails. You saw that, that guy, he had his arm chopped off with that katana, and he was able to reattach it with his nano machines. And I can say that because he said that in the video. All right, so now let's jump back to Revelation. And so those are part of it, his miracles, his blessings on the left hand side that he received from Isaac, which is a part of the blessings of his sword. So we're gonna read the rest of Revelation. And Revelation 13, chapter 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause many that should not worship the image of the beast to be killed. That great persecution is coming to those who don't take that MOTB, right? All right, and here's the meat. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive an MARK in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no man may buy or sell save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 so 666. So that's the numbers that you see on your barcode, and this stuff's out here right now, with Elon Musk, was pushing out that Neuralink with Doge along with Caesar Nero, aka President Donald Trump. They're all in on this, the collapse of the world's economies, which is why he's setting out them tariffs and then throw out the MOTV. This technology is literally right here, and as you can see here, the day is 2022, man. They're just waiting for an event, which is gonna start, which is gonna kick off Jacob's trouble, man. Man, so they can implement this charagma, man, and all this, everything that you see here is tied to that, is tied to Esau's blessing, the sword, and he does all this is to mimic what the elect are going to be doing, man, to mimic what Yahushua does, healing people, controlling them, casting demons off them, man. But he's doing this to the left hand side, and Esau, man, with his blessing with the sword, he's gonna kill many, as you read in Revelation, 13 verse 15, right? All right, so now we're gonna read Genesis 27, starting at verse 38, and it says here, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword thou shalt live, and thou shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass that when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break the yoke off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing word, and his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. Yeah, that's basically what's happening today, man. Esau's trying to get that birthright back. That's why Esau's about to come down hard on Jake, man. That's what that event back in 2020 was, to kill off as many of you Jakes as possible. And he's gonna do that again, and with the rollout of the MOTB, just so he can try to achieve that blessing, which he's trying to do on the left hand side, right? Now we're gonna jump to Genesis chapter 25, verse 27. It says here, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in the tents, and meaning what, the tabernacles. He built the tabernacle of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Now let's look at the Strong's word for the word cunning, right?
Strong's H 3045. Yadah. Yadah.
Yadah. So the biblical usage, to know, to learn to know, to perceive, to see, and find out, and discern, to distinguish, to know by experience, to recognize, admit, knowledge, confess, to consider. All right, and again, that's a part of Esau's blessing of being of the sword, and that goes along with being the cunning hunter of the field. All right, and where do we see that word Yadah repeat itself? Well, let's go to Genesis 3, chapter 3, verse 5, right? And it's talking about the fall of man, the serpent, right? Now the serpent, Genesis chapter 3, starting at verse 1. Now the serpent, the serpent, the sorcerer, and yes, we're gonna get the Strong's definition of the serpent, because that's gonna be important later on.
Strong's H 5175. Nachash.
Nahash, serpent. Well, Nakash, right, is a practitioner, diviner, observe science to learn by experience. And we basically just read that in the word Yadah. He to learn by experience. A sorcerer, he's cunning, and to discern, to know by experience. That's right. The serpent, the sorcerer, man. That Esau's the reincarnation of that damn sorcerer, the one who tricked Eve to take in that fruit. And we know that fruit was what his philosophies, his way of thinking. That left hand, his left hand knowledge, that witchcraft, that sorcery, which is what you see happening today in real time, right? All right. So let's read. So now the serpent was more subtle than any of the beasts of the field which the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai had made. And he said unto the woman, Yeah, hath Yahweh said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh hath said, Ye shall not eat, neither ye shall touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall surely not die. So basically, the damn devil, the serpent who got reincarnated to Esau today, lied, and that's how we know. Oh, Esau and the serpent are the same spirit reincarnation because this damn devil lies, right? Right, and 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 to the spirit, just so we don't get sidetracked, right? Right. Let's find. All right. So let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 3. It says here, "The wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they were born, speaking lies." And we know the wicked. It's talking about Esau, Edom, right? Because if we get the book of Mal Malachi 1 verse 4. Or it says here, "Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai Sabbath oath, meaning his armies. They shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness, whom the people against whom the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai had indignation forever." So yeah, so it proves so this right there proves that the serpent, man, and Esau are the same people because are the same spirits because these motherfuckers lie and they tap into what they tap into that left hand knowledge, that left hand witchcraft, right? All right, so where was I? Oh, all right. Verse 6, and then the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, and that goes back into what that lust, going back to the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, right? And she lusted after what that left that knowledge. She took in what she took in feminism, democracy, homosexuality. All the wicked abominations. That Esau pushes on this side. They're going to that image of the beast, right? She took the fruit thereof and did eat and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. Right, right. So now going so now we know that the serpent and Esau are in fact the same spirits, reincarnated, and we just read he was cunning, meaning what he learns from experience. He's a damn sorcerer. He was that snake, right? Right, and in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, starting at verse 3, it substantiates and it says here, "Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee." So they went out and searched through that left hand knowledge. That's why they're able to invent all this nanotechnology, right? And that's why they're getting ready to roll out with that charagma. All this is rebellion against Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Hey, all right. Verse 4: With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. But thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. And another precept to that. Going to the book of Obadiah, chapter 3, going to the book of Obadiah, starting at verse 3, chapter 1, verse 3 through 4. "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and set thou the nest among thy stars, thence will I bring thee down, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai." And that's what he's doing right now since the 70s, man. Since Esau, went up into space and supposedly went to the moon, which we know he never did. And that's when the truth sprang out, and since then, slowly but surely, Esau's society has been slowly been deteriorating, and that's what you see right now, man. People are losing their jobs, prices are starting to increase. People are mourning. Yeah, yeah, man. The haughty people, they're languishing, man, because this damn devil's not fit to rule. And it was destined that he wasn't fit to rule. Is to show the world that this that what happens when you rule the earth in wickedness, which was the elect. Lord willing, we are those men, the elect being joint heirs with the Al Shai and the new spiritual bodies, which is the second covenant. We're gonna come back down and fix everything, man, and put these devils and the rest of these heathens into captivity. All right, all right, all right, and we know, and we know all this all this left hand knowledge, right? That through those philosophies, right? Right is how can I say it? Right, has been passed down, from one kingdom to another. Because if you read in from Genesis chapter 10, starting at verse 8 through 11, it says here, and Cush begot Nimrod, and Nimrod he began to be a mighty one on the earth, right? He was a mighty hunter before the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I wherefore he said that even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua in the beginning of his kingdom, Babal and and Ir- and Erech and Akkad and Kalan, the land of Shinar, out of the land of Assyria built Nineveh, and the city of Rehoboth and Kalan. If you read Genesis chapter 11, that's when they built the Tower of Babel, of Babal, or Tower of Babel, which goes back to the Hebrew word Babal, meaning what, confusion. Which was the Lord, right? They spoke one language, and then and then and because when they built that tower, right, they basically built that tower, in rebellion against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, thinking that they can get away from the judgment of the Lord, but unbeknownst to them, the Lord confounded their language, and caused them to to spread out, right. Right, but now that Tower of Babel, all that mystery religion that they've gathered, right, is being brought back now, through what, that MOTB, that micro C hip, as you can see right here, and see this is what Esau, the damn devil, is trying to accomplish, but we know that's it's not going to happen, right? Because what did the Lord say? When he is about, Job chapter 20 verse 23, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fear of his wrath upon it, and shall rain up upon it while he's eating. So right when he thinks, oh, he's about to, he's chipping everyone. He thinks, oh, that's right, man. I killed a bunch of the Israelites. I'm chipping everyone. That's when Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, he's gonna send them nukes, on Esau, on Babylon the Great, and Jerusalem, and other parts of the world, man. And that's when Esau fucking goes down. That's when the elect get beamed up. Lord willing, we are part of the elect, being joint heirs with Yahushua, gave them new spiritual bodies, and then going down the valley of Jehoshaphat, and beating all these nations down to fucking powder, man. That's what's gonna happen, and we're gonna find you elites, hidden in the mountains, in them bunkers too. All right, all right. So we're gonna get a few more precepts. So and this and this is just gonna go into the word, witchcraft. All right, all right, because that's how Esau is basically planning to rule the world, is through what, her witchcraft, or whoredoms, right? It says here, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshai Sabaoth, meaning his armies, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. That's what's happening right now, man. People seeing how much of a fraud Babylon the Great, aka America, is, man. So because a lot of people right now they join the BRICS nation. So let me jump here, and if you scroll up right now, man. This is 2000. This is how much trading partners that the U.S. had. Now this is 2024. Look how much trading partners that China or the BRICS nation have, man. Absolutely through, man. And this is what's about to happen to you damn devils, man. That's right. Yahweh Shai about to rain on you. All right. So let's go into the Strongs, and we're gonna go to witchcrafts.
Strong's H 3785. Keshif. Keshif.
Keshif, witchcraft, sorceries. That's not the Strongs I want. That's but that does play into play into what I'm looking for. Like so if you go in the Strongs in I believe it is Galatians 5:20 where it says witchcraft. This is the one I wanted to get.
Strong's G 5331. Pharmakia. Pharmakia.
Yeah, pharmakia. Yeah, pharmakia or pharmacy. And if you look at the World Health Organization logo, it is a serpent, and that basically encompasses around the whole earth. Going back to Esau having that dominion through what his blessing the sword, and part of his sword is what lying, deceit, and that pharmakia. Him causing people to get sick, like, and basically that's Esau's mo to try to deceive people and get the blessing back. He presents it something as good for you, but ultimately he's there to destroy you, and that's what he wants. He wants to get that birthright back, but we know he's never gonna get it back. With that, I like to end off this lesson. I like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto who Yahweh, Ba'Hashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashim Rukakadash. All right, double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, who will and taught us his truth. I also like to say peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect in the 1/3, Israel Salah. And with that, I like to say Shalom.